Hello vinyl community and anyone else watching this. Today I sort of wanted to make a video that's different from most of my videos. A video I kind of don't make much. It's a topical video. And I've been thinking about this for a few days. And I got my mind changed a little bit last night, which is why I decided to make the video. The video I'm calling, Is There Room for Art in Modern Music? And what I mean by that is a lot of people my age, or older, or even younger, don't listen to new music anymore. And the reason that they can't relate to it, for whatever reason, they get stuck in a time frame, and that's the music they're comfortable with. And once in a while, something will pop up that they like. But for the most part, they don't. They don't listen to new music. And I think part of that might have to do with the fact that there's not room for art in music anymore. When I think of the 80s, bands I really don't have much interest in the 80s were huge. Huey Lewis, REO Speedwagon, Hall & Oates sold millions and millions of records, and I look at those records and I don't see any sort of art there. I just see corporate manipulation and just playing it safe. And today, I think, in the record industry, that's exactly what all the majors do, and even a lot of the minors these days, just play it safe. And that's not art. And I think the reason the music in the even 50s, even 40s, even 30s, and 60s, and even 70s was great was because people pushed the envelope. People made it art. And they don't do that anymore. Even some of my favorite bands right now, bands like The Connection and The Weaklings, are just very derivative. They're not pushing any envelopes. The Weaklings are a Beatles sound-alike band. I like them a lot, but that's what they are. The Connection is trying to be the Rolling Stones. I like them. I really like them a lot, but they're not doing anything new. They're not pushing any envelopes. They're not making art. They're just making music. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you don't move forward that way. Music gets stuck, and I think music has been stuck for a long time. Even, I'm not a rap fan or a hip-hop fan, but I get older hip-hop records and rap records. They were pushing envelopes. They were making people think. They were going out on the edge, and they were creating art. Now they're just sampling other music. And to me, that's not art. A band that comes to mind that I've been hearing a lot about is the new Led Zeppelin, Greta Van Fleet. Okay, Greta Van Fleet, they're fine. They're great. They sound exactly like Zeppelin, and that's not a problem. Why do you want the new Led Zeppelin? Why don't you just listen to Led Zeppelin if that's what you want? Back in the 70s, everybody was the new Beatles. The Bay City Rollers were going to be the new Beatles. The Electric Light Orchestra were the new Beatles. Whoever was the new Beatles. Nobody ever was, but in spite of that, they all had their own sound. They weren't completely derivative. Even the Bay City Rollers had their own sound. They didn't just copy, and that's what I think bands are doing today. They're not art. They're not even trying to be art, where back a long time ago they were trying to be art, and they weren't afraid to push envelopes, and they weren't afraid to put out product. I think they take too long too. Music has become a craft, and music doesn't necessarily have to be a craft. You don't need to take 2 years to record an album. The Beatles recorded their first album in like 14 hours. You don't need you just whittle away everything, every little thing that you could hear that might be wrong, that might add charm to the music. You just take it away. And anyway, this is what I've been thinking for a few days now, and I've been thinking of certain people in the vinyl community. I'm not going to mention any names, and I wanted to show a few examples of albums that I think are art from the 60s, and these are love them or hate them albums. Very few people are lukewarm about them, and I think it's art that makes them love or hate albums. If they were mediocre, it'd be, that's what you do to a mediocre record. Okay, so here's one. Okay, a lot of people think this is one of the best albums ever made. A few people hate it. I get why you hate it. It takes some listening. It takes some getting into. It's an experience. And that's what art is an experience. And not everybody likes the same paintings. Some people hate modern art. Some people love modern art. Some people don't think classical art is so good. Some people love it. This album, to me, right here, is a piece of art. There are tons of Pink Floyd fans out there, and the majority of them do not like early Pink Floyd. The majority of them hate this album. I love this album. This is probably my favorite Pink Floyd album, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, their first album. This is art. They are pushing envelopes. They are creating. They are doing new things that have never been heard before. That's fantastic. That's art. Velvet Underground, the Andy Warhol album. A lot of people in the vinyl community love this album, but people outside the vinyl community, no. They think this is just noise. And it was noise. And that's the beauty of it. That's the art of this record. Records like this can't be made anymore. They just, even for the most part, even minor labels won't even sign a band that's going to push an envelope like that. And without pushing envelopes, there's nothing new, and music gets static. And I really think that's what's wrong with music today, is it's static. Nobody's pushed to any envelopes for a long time. Maybe Jack White and the White Stripes was the last to push the envelope, and even that was getting stifled. And on his own, I don't really think he's pushing any envelopes at all. I just think he's going with the flow now. When U2, a great band from the 80s, was really pushing envelopes in the early 80s, and one of the few bands that were. Now I think they're just becoming another pop band. Maybe they've already become another pop band. Weezer just put out a pop album. I mean, maybe it's supposed to be a joke. Maybe it's just one little bridge in their multifaceted career. I don't know. But to me, it's not a good sign. Even jazz. We're listening to this. Okay, even jazz today is just light jazz for the most part. Nobody goes out on a limb like this guy anymore. You're not allowed to. And I think this is what's wrong with music. It's not art. It has become just a corporate way of making money. And even for the bands, even for the musicians, it's a way to make money. It's a way not to have a job and to make money. And it's fine, but it's not great. And that's where I was till last night. Last night, I finally got a chance to listen to the Shannon and the Clams album. Let me tell you something. You may hate this album. A lot of people will. A lot of people will hate this album. A lot of people will love this album. This will probably be my favorite album of the year. These guys go out on a limb. These guys do something that nobody else does, and it's such a breath of fresh air in today's music industry that I was blown away by this. There are elements. I can't even tell you what they must be listening to do this, but I hear the musicianship of like 60s reggae music, but it's not reggae, but the instruments are there. It has that kind of feel. I get French pop influences. I get all kind, Jonathan Richman, Velvet Underground, all that outsider kind of stuff. It's very lo-fi in places. There are lots of hiss there's mistakes. There's a charm in this album that I haven't heard in a long, long time. I liked every single track on it. There's the track listing. The first three were probably my favorites, but Onion was great. Don't Close Your Eyes is this like epic ballad, but it's not schmaltzy. They're playing, these guys look like this, and they make this song that is not schmaltzy. It's, I usually don't like these power ballad kind of things, and that's as close as these guys will ever come to that probably. And I loved it. These guys give me hope for music, and that's what I wanted to make this video about. That as down as I've been for the last week about just, you know, the new Hendrix came out and I bought it. And I haven't got a chance to listen to it yet. I'm hoping that I really, really like it. Not that it's new music or anything, but that somebody would put it out today is a good thing. So that's about it. If you're into, I don't know, space age pop even fans would like this. I got some Enoch Light kind of stuff out of that, Shannon and the Clams as well. If you like any of that kind of stuff, if you like good 60s pop music, they don't sound like a 60s band, don't get me wrong, but they write songs with good hooks and hand claps, and there's joy and quirkiness, and you can tell that they love what they're doing. And that is so lacking in music today. So, I guess that's about it. I've rambled, I took no notes, I just went off the top of my head. Let me know what you think. Is there room for art in modern music? Is it all been taken out? Are there other bands like that out there? Now I know there are other forms and things, and like a lot of my peers, I don't get them either. I liked Courtney Barnett, but I didn't like her as much as that. Let me know what you think. Is there room for art in modern music? I don't know. I was thinking no, so I put that on. By the way, I've ordered their other two albums today. I love Shannon and the Clams. Anyway, that's the video. Check out my podcast, snapcracklepop.podomatic.com. In the upcoming weeks, I guarantee there'll be a lot of Shannon and the Clams on it, as well as the new Hendrix and lots of other stuff. So check that out. Thanks for watching, and take care, everybody. Bye.